What is going on, you guys? Wonderbro here, and today I want you to ask yourself this simple question. Is the situation or feeling causing me to suffer, or is it my thoughts about the situation or feeling that's causing me to suffer? You'll notice that it's the thoughts about. You'll notice that it's your thoughts about the situation or feeling that's causing you to suffer. Now this brings me to my next point. And this point is very important for what I'm trying to get across. If it's your thoughts about the situation or feeling that's making you suffer, then what do you need to understand? You need to understand that you are not your thoughts. You are not your mind. You're the one who hears those thoughts. And if you hear the thought, if you're the one who's aware that you had the thought, if you can hear it in your head, then that implies that there's two different things going on here. There's you who hears it, and then there's the thoughts, which means you are not your mind. If you were your mind, you wouldn't be aware of your thoughts. You wouldn't hear them. So that leads us to understand that there's you, the one who hears the thoughts, and then there's your thoughts. Two separate things. In knowing that you are not your thoughts, and that you're the one who hears them, you now know that you are not your mind, which means you can choose to not care about what the mind has to say about your situation or your feelings. And in not caring, that means you don't have to argue with it. That means you don't have to talk back to it. That means it loses its power because you're realizing that you don't have to care about what the mind says, about what the thoughts say, because you are not those things. You're the one who hears them. And as the one who hears them, you now have a choice to not care. So there's person A, just to sum my point up, there's person A, which is you, the person who hears your thoughts and feels your feelings, and then there's person B, the thoughts themselves, your mind. So since they're two different things, like I said, you now have the choice, since you realize that, to not care about what the mind does. And in not caring about what the mind does, you no longer have to get involved or argue or fall down the rabbit hole of worry and thinking, which leads to more emotions. So I'm going to give you some practical examples, and our first example is going to be about a life situation, something that we all may encounter at one point or another. And then the next example, if you'll stick around for it, I'll use a feeling example, an anxiety example. So our first example, a life situation, something we all have dealt with or might have to deal with, being stuck in traffic. Is being stuck in traffic causing you to suffer? Is that really what's causing you to suffer? Of course not. You're in your car. Yes, you're stuck in traffic, but you're in your car. You probably have the air conditioner going. You have your window down. It's probably a beautiful day. Even if it's not, if it's raining, you can still find beauty in that. You've probably got maybe you've got company with you that you can talk to. Maybe you've got the radio going. You've got music. So is being stuck in traffic, is that causing you to suffer? Of course not. Of course not. It's actually not that bad of a situation. It actually can be an enjoyable situation. What's causing you to suffer when you're stuck in traffic is your thoughts about being stuck in traffic. So you get stuck in traffic, and then you have a thought that says, this is horrible. I can't afford, I'm going to be late. I can't afford to sit in this traffic. This is awful. I'm bored. I want to get to where I'm going. And then you entertain those thoughts because you don't know any better until I pointed it out to you. If you did know better, congratulations. But you didn't know any better. So you took those thoughts for who you are. You immediately identified with them as the truth, and then you started arguing with them, and you started agreeing with them, and you're like, yeah, this is horrible, and that led to more thoughts and more thoughts and more thoughts that the whole time you didn't realize that you're not your thoughts. So it leads to more thinking and more thinking and more thinking, more emotion, because thoughts lead to emotion, so now you're suffering. Whereas if you were to realize that you're not your mind tells you this is awful, but it's not. And you don't care what the mind has to say about this situation. You know the truth. And you don't argue with the thought that says this is horrible. You just let it come, you let it go, you accept it. If it brings a feeling of frustration, you accept that too, because you know you're not your mind. So what if it brought an emotion? You don't have to care about the emotion. So it brings these things, but you allow, you accept, you don't fight with or argue with, and then they pass. And you realize you're not your mind. You don't have to care about what the mind says. You can enjoy being stuck in traffic. Now, moving on to our next example, anxiety. Let's say you get a thought, a negative feeling, just like with the being stuck in traffic. Let's say you get a thought that says, I might go crazy, and then you get an emotion with that thought. You get anxiety. Is it the situation that's causing you to suffer? Is it the anxiety? Because when that thought brings an emotion, you with anxiety, you tend to focus on the feeling now, and you think, oh yes, I must be going crazy, and you start arguing with it, and get you all worked up. Is it the feeling? So let's say when you had that thought and it brought a feeling of dread, and it made your heart pound a little bit, is that what's causing you to suffer? No. A pounding heart's not going to cause you to suffer. It's just a pounding heart. An emotion of fear is not necessarily going to cause you to suffer. It's just an emotion, just like being happy is an emotion, just like being sad is an emotion. Those things aren't going to cause you to suffer. What's going to cause you to suffer is your thoughts about that feeling, about that emotion. So when you get that thought, boom, I might go crazy, then you get that feeling, pounding heart, and then you start thinking, you start labeling, you start judging. This is horrible, this is bad, this is terrible, I don't want to feel this way. That's what's causing you to suffer, is your thoughts about it, bringing more and more thoughts to the table, bringing more and more emotions. Whereas if you realize you're not your mind, you're not your thoughts, you're not your emotions, you're the awareness behind it all, you can quickly not answer the door when those thoughts come. You can let them come. I'm not going to entertain that. I'm not going to argue with that. I'm not my mind. I'm not what my mind says. And then let it go. Same with your feelings, because when these thoughts pop up automatically, they're going to bring a feeling. You can't necessarily stop the feeling, but you can accept the feeling. You can allow it, and you cannot think about it like, oh, I'm going to go crazy, and then you entertain that thought, and it leads to more thoughts, and now you're suffering. Whereas if you would just let feelings and thoughts come, let the thought come, accept it, allow it, realize that you're not your mind. You don't have to listen. You don't have to care about what that thought says. You can just observe it and let it go. If you would just do that with your thoughts, do that with your feelings, you would stop suffering. These thoughts and these feelings would come less and less. Your nerves would heal. You are not your mind. Just because a thought popped up doesn't make it true. You're the one who hears the thought. Therefore, you have the choice of not caring and just letting it be, letting it come, and letting it go. Just like with your feelings. Accept, allow, let go. Your thoughts create your suffering. Even with feelings of anxiety, your thoughts about those feelings create your suffering. Let your thoughts come, let them go, don't entertain them, don't argue with them. Stop labeling, stop judging. I love each and every one of you very much. And until next time, as always, stay awesome.